Hollywood's association with slavery over the last 100 years was a bit complex and complicated. The 1915 film, The Birth of a Nation, really, it did a lot for us in our American society. And it presented slavery as a loss, something that America lost after this war of northern aggression. And it also presented the creation of the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan. This film just did so darn much to present this complicated and really intense problem that I think connects to the development of systemic racism in our country.
And where's Dr.
Gone with the Wind did not present slavery as the original sin that it truly was. When you examine the presentation of Mammy as a figure in the film world, it's stereotypical, it's problematic, it's limiting.
Well,
the actor is displaying this intense amount of range, but the limit that she's allowed to have with the script that she's given and the role that she's allowed to play is destructive for the entire career of every single African-American female actor that came after her. When we see slavery presented in film as a jovial, happy, peaceful, wonderful society where the slaves are happy, it is completely disruptive because film is a really powerful and important medium.
Now been brought to the screen.
Mandingo! Mandingo!
Mandingo.
4,000! I'll pay more, 500 more!
Films like Mandingo and the follow-up Drum, they really, I think, led to some of these definitions and understandings of this masculine hypersexuality that we have.
So now, listen, you do what I want. I'm gonna tell him everything.
You know, I've had people that I've dated call me Mandingo jokingly, and I'm like, yo, do you realize what you're saying? Like, that's a real problematic space. There was one film done overseas called Tamango, which starred Dorothy Dandridge, and if you look at the scene where she is freed by the Dutch captain, and he expects her to love him, and she turns around and she's like, you know what, this is not going to work.
But I can't stay with you. I don't belong with you. I belong with them.
I don't love you. I did this to get my freedom.
Tonight, we present a landmark in television entertainment, Roots.
When we saw Roots come on in the 70s, it was powerful because, honestly, the whole world stopped. I think that Roots was the beginning of a discussion like, you know what, we need to talk about how disruptive, how terrible slavery was. It was abusive to the human spirit, it divided families, it crushed the soul. Slavery was designed to disseminate, take apart, and disrupt, and it was very successful at it. If I have to think about and describe films that accurately portrayed slavery, I jump to 12 Years a Slave. It was brutal, it was hard, it was intense, it was heavy. The whipping and the beating you saw was powerful. But also the moments of people thinking they were free and then all of a sudden being ripped out. I think anyone could relate to that. We have the trope of the white savior simply because white people control the movies. White people control what is made. I remember the moment when Brad Pitt all of a sudden popped up and I was like, okay, he's building a house. What's this about? What's going on?
Let the high praise of God be on the mouths of the saints!
The new Birth of a Nation has flipped the narrative around slave films. It moved away from the story of the slave and more to the story of the enslaved. It's less about slavery, more about liberation.
I like the waves will rise up in spite